Dude, bro. Are you fucking kidding me right now? I've been talking to this fucking stream for 2 hours. 2 hours. And my microphone has been fucking muted the whole time. Yeah, Kayla got off about a half an hour ago. Bro, are you fucking serious? Kayla was like, even looked at the stream at one point. I wish she would have told me that she couldn't fucking hear me. Oh, dude, that's so ass. I was talking about the podcast I wanted to do. I was talking about fucking ghost stories. I was talking about, oh my god, bro. What the fuck? No wonder those people left. I had 3 people watching. Oh my god, man. I didn't know. Fuck. That's fucking. Ugh. Well, what's up? This fucking stupid shark keeps eating my fucking raft. Oh, excuse me. Um, God, where do I even start? I've been talking. Like ever since Kayla got off, I've been talking to the stream about all kinds of shit. I don't even know where to start. I was talking about fucking. Oh, God, there was so much shit that I talked about. Like our lives and how I've been feeling and shit like that. Like, oh, when I save recent gameplay to see. Okay, yeah, it includes my mic's audio. Damn, dude, hold on. Kind of talking. I just can't talking. I was thinking about just doing a podcast. I'm just trying it once. I might not even be posted. Just sitting down with I can clip it in my fucking mic there. I don't know how all that shit but it's not in the fucking stream. Like the boys off the YouTube channel with Eddie, VR, and Josh, Doug, and all of them. Trying to check them out. All right, I guess I could start there. Needed a little refresher. Jesus Christ, man. I'm low-key really mad about that. Fucking 2 hours. Quiet because I didn't realize that there was no game audio either. This whole time I thought the TV was muted. No, there was no game audio, no mic audio, no nothing. 2 hours. 2 hours of silence. Motherfucker, bro. I'm so mad about that. I'm so sorry. Uh, but yeah, me and Kayla were talking about like trying out a podcast, and like it wouldn't even be something like set in stone, like just something to try. Be- uh-huh. I'm not talking. What? I mean, you can listen, you can respond. I thought you thought I was trying to keep you awake to talk to you. This fucking shark, man. Yeah, I'm streaming. Why do you think I said I wasn't talking to you, Goober? Just go back to sleep. So, some days I'd love to go to sleep for another half an hour. You know what? I know. So take advantage of it. Go back to sleep for a half hour. But yeah, me and Kayla were thinking about. um, doing a podcast like the boys. And what I mean by that is like um, how, and I don't really know how to do it. That's the thing. Like I would have to talk to somebody to know how to be able to do that the right way. Hold on, give me one sec. God, dang. Oh God, I need something to drink. Fuck. I got my tea. Yes, your tea's over here. That's mine. Yeah, baby. Hold on. I need one second. Hold on. Hell yeah. Say that again, my love. Don't mind the names of the old worlds. We got from 2024, Taint Punch. 2024 as well. We got Pussy Flaps. In 2025, we got Pussy Flaps 2. And then 2026, we got lemon pound cake. Oh, wait, I read that wrong. They're all from 2026. Okay, so these are from January. I just read the last number thinking that was the year because I didn't read all of it because I'm lazy. But, so the first one's from January, second one's from January. Pussy Flaps 2 is from May? Yeah, May. Yeah, I'm not good with my months. I still count on all my fingers, which has nothing to do with calendars. But did you hear anything I just said? Oh, okay. Yeah, but then I was like, I read the numbers wrong for the dates, and I was like, I still count on all my fingers. And I said, not that that has anything to do with calendars, but still. But yeah, me and Kayla were thinking about like trying to do a podcast, like, and I don't know, it wouldn't even be a for sure thing. It might be like a we try it, and then Kayla doesn't like it, so we don't do it, or I don't like it, so we don't do it, or so on and so forth. Because it might take a lot more effort than what either of us are willing to do. But she wants to hire my fiance to do all the like tech bullshit behind the scenes, and I told her like she would probably wouldn't be down for all that. She's got enough to take care of, and so do I. Like, huh? We just have to find time for something like that, and it's just something that we don't have a lot of at the moment. So it would just be like, and even if we did do it, like that's another thing. Like, it would be like a sporadic thing. I wouldn't have a schedule or anything like that. But like I was saying, like the boys, I'm talking about like Eddie VR and Josh Dub and all the boys from them. Uh, Not that they do a podcast, but the way that they have their membership set up, that they can smoke and they can post that online. And I would want to talk to somebody about that because I'd be scared that I would do it wrong. Like, do you have to do that in a membership based thing because you can't show yourself doing that on YouTube or so on and so forth? Because I wouldn't want to get banned and shit like that for doing something that I'm not supposed to. But I don't know. I know there's obviously videos of me doing it in the past on YouTube, but I don't have any base following, so nobody cares. And I used to turn off my camera when I do it. Now I don't even use my camera, so that's all like old videos, which, yeah, that would still come back to bite me in the ass if I ever did wind up big in any way, because obviously it's not appropriate. And I think I might still have my shit set to kid friendly, so that could definitely have some backlash if we were to do something like that. But just in general, like turn on a camera, just sit at a table, smoke some weed, and just fucking talk about shit. Doesn't matter what, like ghosts and murderers and fucking conspiracies, and just how our day's going, and just funny shit, and what Kayla did yesterday that made her laugh, and what I did, and what my kid did, and this, and this. Like, I don't know. I just like ghost stories for sure is one that I want to do because, when I'm at work at night, uh, I get bored and I'm just sitting there welding. I have my hood down. I just, pop in some earbuds, listen to some podcasts and shit. And that's something that I've been doing probably like the last year or so. But I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, I started listening to Call Me Chris. She used to do like reaction videos, and she started doing a crime conspiracy called Serial Killer, shit like that. It's a podcast, and it's the first person I ever listened to do shit like that. And it was just the way that she would, you know, go into the reason why, or she would try to anyway. The nature or nurture behind it. Is it because of the way they were raised, or is it because of just who they are as, you know, a being? Like going back in depth into their past and
oh, this is what this person went through. And that doesn't make what they did any better. If that guy went and killed so and so and did this to somebody, like, sure, that doesn't justify it, but like, understanding the mind of a serial killer is something that I want to try to do. And obviously, I'm no, psychologist or whatever. Like, I don't know shit like that, but it would definitely be interesting to sit down and bounce off of another person and on camera and also get feedback from people as I'm doing it, because I know people do that. Because another podcast that I listen to, it's a smaller one. They started doing it last year. They're called Sisters of the Strange, and I recently been listening to a lot of their podcasts. Excuse me. And I think the way they do it is probably the way that I would want to do it. Not that I'm trying to like copy anybody, but I don't know. The way they do it is they have one of the sisters will come in with a story about true crime most of the time. Like, it's not an all the time thing, but most of the time that's how it goes. One of the sisters does like true crime or murder, so on and so forth, cults, and then the other sister will do something like paranormal or ghosts or scary and this and that. Like, they both bring their own story in, and one tells their story, and the one is like the comedic relief and the like, oh, ha ha ha, or this happened, and they give their opinion on it, and so on and so forth. And then the other person tells their story. Now, granted, it doesn't have to necessarily be like ghosts or scary or murder. Like, it could be anything. Like, I don't want it to be just a ghost and scary podcast. Like, I want there to be funny times in it, and sometimes we go on and read about sad stuff and so on and so forth. Like, I know, like, I definitely have some thoughts about some conspiracies. I wouldn't say I'm a huge conspiracy guy, but there's definitely a few that I feel have some legs to it. Like, one that I believe for in a very, very, very long time. Danny Jones did a podcast with this guy, and I can't recall the guy's name now, but he got on there and he was talking about how there's this machine or something, and they use it to scan other planets to see what type of gases are in their atmosphere. And on Mars, there is chemical all over the surface of the planet, inside the atmosphere of the planet, that is the same as one of the chemicals that happen when we have nukes go off and bombs go off here on our planet. So, essentially, what this theory is that, and other people have had this theory before, because, there's water on Mars. They believe, oh, okay, well, there's water there. Maybe we could have once inhabited that planet. Yeah, there's a possibility, but, there's no proof, right? But I think there might be some legs to that, because if it's the same as the chemical that we have when we use nukes, and if I recall correctly, the name of the episode was called The Nuclear War on Mars. And they also went into some other theories and conspiracies and so on and so forth. And the guy wrote a few books. And I think it would just make logically sense. Like, if in any way, they say, like, if we do one thing in the past, we're going to do it again. So what if we just had a nuclear war on Mars, literally? Like, what if our humans race once lived there? And this is where I part off from the rest of the theory, and I have my own kind of, like, I feel... What? You say something? Okay. I feel at one point, and I'll tell both. I'll tell the one that they went into there. They believed, I'll tell mine first. I believe that when the nuclear war on Mars happened, that there was an escape pod sent with a male and a female sent to what we call Earth. And I believe that that is the asteroid that crashed here and killed the fucking dinosaurs. And Adam and Eve crawled out that bitch and they started this shit here. Now, the theory that they have, and there's, I feel like there's some legs to this as well. Like, what are the exact odds that the moon is placed in the exact perfect point in our solar system to where it makes our planet perfectly livable? Because, if we didn't have the moon, we would just have this giant ball of water and electricity and just constant bullshit. And I think it's so funny because they threw up a few good points in their podcast about, like, what are the odds that the moon is so perfect that it allows us to be able to do the things that we do? And, they went into it a little farther and they were like, what if the civilization that was on Mars fled Mars because they had a nuclear war and they couldn't live there anymore. They made the planet fuck, I can't say it. Uninhabitable. There we go. I got it out. And they built a giant spacecraft to use as a sort of pole, I guess. Or I don't even know if I'm using the right word there. Like, they definitely said it. Like, you should definitely go watch Danny Jones's podcast on it because he can definitely, as well as the guy who he does the podcast with, they definitely are able to use better words than I can to describe what I'm saying, but I'm just kind of, briefing it up. God, I need to fish some one. Oh, wait, no, right here. Okay. Um, Hold on, I'm gonna hit my babe. Um, what was I saying? Oh, they built this giant aircraft, or spacecraft, to use as a pole, essentially. And what I mean by that is like a gravitational pull, because the Earth and the Moon being exactly where they are, apart from each other, is what makes our waves be the way they are, and so on and so forth. So essentially, what they are saying is that they fled and they made the Moon. Now, I know that might obviously sound crazy. Like, what? What are you talking about? The Moon's been there forever. Yeah, but what if it wasn't? Because when we went to the moon, apparently, obviously, I would not know. So this is all allegedly because, I don't, yeah, all that. Allegedly, there was a radio for the public, and there was a radio for, the comms where they ran everything. And allegedly, the Soviets or the Russians, or however they said it, I don't remember now, um, overheard it, and they were listening in on. Uh, I think they called it a medic radio, but I could be recalling wrong. Uh, Hold on, I need to put more water in this. Um, who is it? Neil Armstrong? I don't fucking remember the guy who walked on Mars, but they claimed that there was two radio stations. Like I said, allegedly, two radio stations, one for the public and one for the people that were running shit. And they claimed that when they landed, he radioed to the comms room and said something about, uh, God, it's been forever. Like, they're everywhere. They're here. There's a lot of them. They're little. This, and this. Um, but after they talked about that, there was also, I don't remember the years, there was like FBI agents, and there was an officer and this who were relieved from their, uh, like I said, I want to be able to research things. Like there's words that I know, like what they are, but I don't know the words. Like I want to be able to learn shit. Um, relieved. They were allowed to talk about what they went through. Like they were relieved of whatever that word is. I can't think of it. Um, but they told about how they went down in this elevator and they were pulled for this thing, and they had to look at these photos. And he said they made him describe what he's seen on these photos. And I don't remember if it was. I think it was the moon. Yeah, it was an ancient civilization on the dark side of the moon. Now, way before this guy was brought down this elevator and was brought into this room, there was a guy who, didn't really have the credentials to be there. But he had the credentials to be there to work on a computer. Like he was a worker, came in to fix something, and it was actually this high definition camera computer. And he claims that there was another guy there who was the same ranking as him who broke protocol and showed him the photos of said ancient civilization on the moon. Now, the only reason that I claim that they're the same is because, many years later, when the other dude came out about his story and he read it, or not read it, but seen the photos, and when he pulled them out of the envelope, they made him describe it. He said basically what he described is what the other guy seen, or allegedly. And he said that there was like obelisks made out of this like almost, what did he say, like cement or clay, or yeah, I don't remember, but there was obelisks and pyramids and this and this and this, and there were skyscrapers and buildings on the dark side of the moon. And the guy that's opened the pictures out of the envelope claimed the same thing, that he's seen all these things. And well, the guy who was looking at it from the camera, he said he could see this man, like a Norse man, standing on the dark side of the moon, and he felt the presence. Like he almost felt like he could see him. Like he knew that he shouldn't have been looking at him, and he knew that he was there looking at him. But why? And and it's just this whole crazy story. And the reason that I think it has legs to it is because apparently when they landed on the moon, they said it sounded hollow. Now, why that matters is because if it was, made by the human race to make the Earth livable, like, all right, what if they had the scientific resources to make something that perfect to make the planet inhabitable? You know, and that's another thing. When you look at the moon, there are craters that are like 500 miles, like thousands of miles wide, but only hundreds of miles deep, and it's like that physically that is not possible. It's not possible. Now, what if, and hear me out, obviously, this might be stretching it, but what if it's not concave? What if they're convex? And what I mean by that is like a dome. Instead of it being craters, what if they're domes with UFOs buried under the surface? And I don't know. There was all these different things, and they even talked about at one point that in some of the craters that you could see, they could see people that were being forced to work, and all these crazy things. Like, just on this podcast, I want to be able to talk about anything. I don't want to be based on just one thing. I don't want to be, oh yeah, they're that podcast about killers, or oh yeah, they're that podcast about this or that. Like, I want to just talk about fucking everything and just smoke pot while doing it with my best fucking friend, you know? And I definitely think there will be some struggles there because Kayla is a very mule-headed person. I could say that and know that I'm right about that because she knows that she is. And I feel like if I have a very strong opinion on something she's coming to me about with one of these stories or whatever, and I say something that she might get mad about it, and, you know, I don't want people to be like, oh, why are they arguing? Like, it's not even like we're really arguing. It's just like she gets real worked up in how she feels, you know? And I just, there's definitely going to be some ups and there's going to be some downs if we try this, but I don't know, I can't help but think like it's just, you know, for fun. So why not? Oh, God. I don't even know, bro. I was talking about so much shit earlier. There we go. Well, can you fuck off? Seriously? Yeah, I'm getting more fucking meat. More fish. And it's like at some point I want to be able to go and do all that ghost shit, you know? I want to go to the fucking haunted places. I want to go to Australia and go to the prison, and I want to go to I don't even know, man. I want to go to the Axe Murder House. I want to go to this place. I want to go to that place. I want to have the tools to do it because I don't know if it's real. You know, people could be faking it online to be famous. I don't know that. And you know, even when I do it, people are still going to think the same thing about me. And I've come to terms with the fact that, you know, the only people that'll know if it's real is the people that go and try it. And I think Eddie from The Boys is the one who said it the best. Like, he went into it thinking it was all fake, but the more and more that he's gone through it, and they've tried to, like, debunk everything. Like, they are constantly challenging what's going on, but they have had full conversations with things that are not there, and I think it is absolutely insane. But you know, like other people say, like, what if someone's sitting in a van outside where we can't see them and they're talking into a walkie-talkie and they're giving them these perfect responses? Like, I don't know. And you know, if I were to do the same thing, people would say the exact same thing about me. So I think it's just something that if you think there's even a slight chance that it's real, you should go fucking try it. I think it would be a great experience. And even if it's not real, you get to go be in a place where there's history. You know, some of those places are buried or built on top of, you know, uh, fucking grave sites, man. Like, or Indian war places and this and that and all these crazy things. It's like, yeah, I want to go experience that for myself. I don't want to just watch it through a fucking YouTube video. And, you know, maybe I'll never get there, or maybe I will. But either way, I'm gonna have fun fucking doing it. Oh god. Wada. What the fuck? The hammer. Hammer time. Can I please stop starving? Um, I don't know. Like I know, uh, like my mom even has some stories. Like And if I ever do this podcast, I'm going to talk about it on there, but I'm going to talk about it right now because, I'm talking about doing the podcast. But, like, my mom has her own stories, and do I know if they're true? Fuck, no. I mean, the only story that I have is that there was this one time that, you know, I think it's crazy, but there was this one time in our basement. So, like, when you would walk into my parents' home, there is a door immediately to your right, and that's the basement. Um, we were all in the kitchen, which is that room that you walk into when you go into the door, is the kitchen. And you turn to your right, and that's the basement door, and it's just a immediate stairway down into your left. And we had shelves up in there because it used to be a room before they had turned it into a basement many years later, because my parents' house is really old. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah, there was this one time that the fucking drill, like nobody was in there. I swear, like I wouldn't be telling this story if I didn't believe it myself. There was nobody in the basement. There was nobody in the basement stairwell. And this fucking drill my dad had on one of the shelves just started going off like crazy in the fucking basement or in the stairwell. And my mom was like freaking out over it because, and I didn't know it at the time. She'd wound up telling me because I was older that when we lived back in our old house out in Reno, that there was this one. So at our old house, there was like, God, this is going to be really hard to explain um, without like using hand motions. And obviously, I don't have my camera, but it's like an archway in our living room. But we had a very large living room. It was a very large archway, and about halfway through, or at the floor, there was just a half wall. On the other side of that wall, we had an island for counter space, and it was a really awkward setup because, like imagine this is the art. Oh God, that's a lot. Okay, so like, imagine this is my living room right here. From this side, it's up and like rounded like this, and comes straight back down. But halfway through, about probably here, it goes up and over, and this is all open, and this is all open. And my mom, she had her chair like over here type shit. I don't know if any of this makes sense to y'all, but like, let's say this is the start of the um. Why is music getting crazy? Oh, I'm starving to death. Hold on, hold on. Oh, bro, I'm choking. What the fuck? Damn, that was close. What the fuck was I saying? I genuinely don't remember what I was saying. That was close. Um, oh, okay, so over here. Let's imagine, like, my mom's chair is here in this little square, and this was solid wall here for these two blocks, and then right here is where the wall started. And it would go, so, straight up, and then it was like an archway, and it would come all the way over to this side, but there was like a half wall here, and she was sleeping with the lights off in her chair because she has back problems, and she always sleeps in her chair in a recliner, and she had her glasses off. And my mom can't see very well when she doesn't have her glasses on, and she had this little like side lamp next to her chair, and she thought my dad, whose room was on the other side of the kitchen, way over on the other side, and she looked up, and there was like, oh, what the fuck? I just seen turtles, yo. I'm gonna fucking die. Um, but she said that when she opened up her eyes when she was sleeping, that it looked like somebody's head was peering around the corner at her. And she swears up and down, like she looked right at it, and she thought it was my dad because it was pretty tall. Like she's sworn on everything it was my dad, and she was like, "Okay, haha, Derek, come in here, whatever." And he didn't move. So she leans over and she grabs her glasses and she puts them on, and it's still there. So she goes, "Derek, come in here," and nothing happened. So my mom leans over and turns her light on, and there's nothing there. She turns her light off and she leans back in her seat and she looks over and it's there again. And she looks down and she said that there was no feet. And she said she's always been uncomfortable ever since. And she claims that she still sees it. My mom sleeps on every night with the fucking lights on. I swear on everything. For as long as I can remember. And I guess she never used to be that way until we lived at the Reno house. But she said that it used to be there all the time. And she said she calls it a shadow. She said that she has the shadow guy who watches her all the time, and he followed her to the house that they live in now, and she still sleeps with the lights on. She will not sleep with any lights off at all. And if she does, because she's got like a migraine or something, you best fucking believe that the room next to that has a fucking light. She can't do it. It's as simple as that, and I've come to accept that because like my whole life she's been that way. And she said one time when we were still living out in Reno that she woke up because it felt like someone was pushing her. And she said that she opened her eyes and she tried to sit up and she couldn't. She said she tried to sit up again. She couldn't move. She said all of a sudden while she's trying to sit up, all the pressure was relieved and she like swung forward with all the force from her trying to make herself sit up. And she said it felt like someone was holding her down and it terrified her, like so much so that my mom wound up sleeping with like a hoodie. She would sleep with a hoodie on backwards so she could cover her face and her arms because she was so, God, it gives me chicken skin just thinking about it because I know that it bothered my mom. I know that it bothered her. It scared her so bad. She used to sleep with her sweatshirt over her face. Like she would have it was a zip up jacket. And she would have her sleeves pulled all the way up. And she would throw the hoodie over her face when she went to sleep so none of her skin was showing because she said that it used to touch her and it just, oh my God, I can't even imagine that, man. Like, it's so terrible because you hear these stories all the time about these shadow people, and they feed on you, and most of the time they don't touch you and shit like that. But it's so crazy. And my family's not the religious type, and I've gone to church a few times here and there just because I wanted to, and I wanted to try it. And I have nothing against religion and whatnot, but I. My parents definitely aren't the religious type, so like I know my mom, she's very spiritual, I guess I'll say. Like she likes the witchy stuff, potions and whatever. Like she likes Harry Potter. I don't know. She's more of a witchy type person, and I think that definitely suits her better than it would somebody else. But yeah. Or like my sister. My sister, ever since she was really, really little, she's always believed in the paranormal. She's said that she's seen ghosts. Oh, okay, it's just a little kid being funny, whatever. They seen a ghost. Ooh, it's their imaginary friend, and so on and so forth. But my sister swears up and down that she's had like events. I can't think of what they're called. Hold on, there's a name for it. Just give me a second. I need to think. Astro projecting, and she claims that And actually, no, it's not her that claims. I'm sorry. My brother Austin. This was at the house when my mom and my brother's dad were together, and I wasn't born yet. Apparently, Austin, my brother, said that he seen Carly leave her room, and she was walking towards the stairway to go downstairs. And he said that she walked right past his door. He said he had his door open, walked right past his door, and walked downstairs. And he got up and he followed her. And he said, Carly, Carly. And he was trying to be quiet because everyone in the house was sleeping. He didn't want to get yelled at for being up or whatever reason. It might have been. But he said that he was like, Carly, Carly. She just kept walking. And he followed her all the way to the bathroom. He said when he got to the bathroom, the door was open. She had just walked in there, and when he went into the bathroom, because she didn't close the door, so he knew she wasn't going to the bathroom or nothing, he said she was gone. And he swears up and down he followed her the whole way. And my sister claims that she can astral project and whatever, and this and that, and I just I don't know. There's so many different things that, like, is it real? Could it be real? Could it be? Sure. Is it? I don't know. I don't know. It's like I believe that there's a heaven and hell, maybe, but I don't. I hope, but I don't know that. You know. Well, I feel like I've been talking out of my ass this whole time, like just blabbing on and on. At least there's 46 minutes on here of fucking audio. I'm so sorry, chat. I was talking that whole fucking time. I'm low key mad about it, but I think that's gonna be it for now. I'm just kind of sitting on here blabbing, not really doing much. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you on the next video. Later.